It's basically it's not very different from here.
Okay.
It's very different in size because you here in India, it's a huge industry. In Latin America, it's not such a big industry. That has also to do with the fact that we do not have those mega cities, with a couple of exceptions. We have a lot of intermediate towns. In the big cities nowadays, bricks are not used very much anymore. The bricks are mainly used in the intermediate towns and in the villages. And there, most of the production looks very similar to production here. It's slop molding, soft molding, simple kilns, intermittent kilns, and then of course you have the industry, the big industry that produces hollow bricks and is working with different type of kilns, with Hoffman kilns or with vertical shaft brick kilns, a few, very few, and tunnel kilns. But the situation, say about mining is basically the same, but as I say, on a much smaller scale, because we do not have so many brick yards. But where there is brick production in those villages, it looks very similar to here.
Yeah.
Just everything a little bit smaller. Our business, the usual family business for bricks employs, except for the family, employs 1 or 2 people. And therefore also the relation, the social relation seems to be a lot better than here. I've heard horror stories in those couple of days about how workers are being treated here, seasonal workers and so on. I've seen it in Bangladesh, which I understand is probably worse than here, but still probably similar. Whereas in Latin America there is more of a relationship between, it's the owner of the brick kiln that employs a couple of neighboring boys or neighboring men to work on. So there is a personal relationship.
Right.
Of course it's tough work, it's badly paid, but it's more human. Ecosur is actually a network. Ecosur is something that only exists virtually.
Okay.
It's a network of several NGOs and small companies, of which the lead company or the lead NGO is Grupo Sofonias, of which I'm president. And the network itself works between those different partners. The network does not have any financing. We do not want any financing from the network. The network has to be maintained by its members. And of course, that means the network also has to provide something for its members.
Right.
So that's how we're working. It's all a very low key, but very international organization. We have members in about 7 or 8 countries. Well, bricks are the most beautiful material. Let's face it. It's the best. It's human. Brick is great, but also cement is great. Cement is very flexible. Very you can make 1,000 things with cement. Now bricks are under pressure from ecological point of view. So is cement. And our policy is to use both materials, or use all materials where it makes sense. So there's an old saying that there is no good or bad material. There's just material well used or badly used.
Okay.
Technology is no good or bad technology. And at the moment, the present is in cement, and the near future is in cement.
Right.
Later on, I think it's also going to be composite materials.
Okay.
At that moment, we're actually starting to replace steel with composite materials. We are, at the moment, we're working together with a Russian company that produces bars. I almost say steel bars. Of course, they're not steel bars. They're 11 times lighter and they're stronger So I say at the moment it's certainly cement, because you can do so many things with concrete, with cement, with concrete. And our major thrust there is, let's use less cement.
Okay.
Let's use less cement in the way of, let's use cement in its ideal form. Most of the cement used worldwide is very badly used. Most concretes have up to 20-25% of cement in there that has not reacted.
Right.
So it's an incomplete reaction. It's cement that is still there in its natural way. That's why even recycling old concrete, milling it, and if you treat it the right way around, you'll find that you need less cement to work with that gravel, with that rubble, because it still has cement in there that has never been used. And so we are basically promoting two technologies, major technologies, which is ferrocement panels for walls and for ceilings and roofs. They are very thin, they are autoportante in Spanish, what is it? It's they're structural, so they do not need any columns anymore, because they have them included. They are 2.5 centimeters thick. Now we do it so that we can guarantee that that more than 90% of the cement actually is working. In the tests we have done when we do it ourselves, we are around 94-95% of the cement that has reacted, that has crystallized. So that is what we call using cement at its best. Thin walls, well done. Thin ceilings, well done. The other thing is the micro concrete tiles, the roofing tiles, that are also 8 or 10 millimeters thick tiles. They are thin, they are lightweight, relatively lightweight, but they're very compact. They're basically high performance concrete.
Okay.
Everything has to go together. There is not one single track. I mean, if the economy stagnates, there is not much room to improve anything. If the economy is slowly driving up, that means that also your technology can slowly go up. Now, of course, we have the big problem of the emissions and the land use. Those two things combine. So the brick sector is actually forced to do something, even if the economy wouldn't allow it. They have to do something. And I think it probably needs technology, but I think it mainly needs creativity, and it needs, as I say, training, education. And I think there is a big difference whether a family is working their own kiln or whether a migrant worker is coming in to work there. When I see the figures of how much fuel is used in the bull trench kiln, I mean, I can't believe it. Bull trench kiln is basically not a bad kiln, but the results are disastrous. Now the zigzag kiln is, from the basics, not anything very different.
Right.
But I have observed now in those 2 days that when you talk about zigzag kilns, automatically you talk about good management, about workers that know what they do, about you talk about the different level.
Right.
And I don't know, I asked this morning the question to the producers, is it just the technology, or is it also the training of the people? And everybody said, or several people said, yes, it's also the training of the people. It's not just technology.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make bad bricks with the best technology. It's difficult to make good bricks with the bad technology, but with the best tools in the world, you can still make a bad product. At the moment, most brickyards in India are in the 19th century.
Okay.
And they're producing for the clients that are in the 21st.
Okay.
And I think there's a gap. That gap obviously has to be covered, and that will take some time. We just now in the last session we talked about technology, about extruders and mixing machines, extruders, and drying elements and so on for medium-sized businesses. And people were talking about importing from France, importing from Germany, importing from Holland, importing from I don't know where. And at a certain moment I said, what is happening? India is a world power. India has the atomic bomb. India, you're not stupid. You're not lazy. You're an industrial power. Why are you still talking about importing very simple things from Europe and then paying big prices in Europe, paying 30% import duty? Then of course it's not profitable. Get your industry working. You know what to do. To do them. There are many extruders in this country. Go and measure them, copy them, make it.
True.
It can be done. As I said, I've seen too many people did it with scrap metal. Also, I've seen it in Africa. People doing with scrap metal and an old engine that they bought somewhere, or maybe stole somewhere, I don't know, and they're working their extruders. Of course, it's not an extruder that delivers 100,000 bricks a day. It's an extruder that maybe delivers 2,000 bricks a day with wire cutting, but it's a technological step, and that step that can be done today, tomorrow. I'm sure we can find 100 small businesses, 100 small mechanical workshops here in Delhi that could make those. If we give them a model, maybe not the drawings, just the model. And we have universities here. We have people educate. We have people who can analyze. Don't depend on Europe. And if you have to import them, please, then why not look at the Chinese? They're cheaper. They're as good.